First matchup we have are the Baltimore Ravens at home taking on the Houston Texans. So are the Ravens going to be a little sluggish? Are they going to come off of the 2 weeks of the starters just not really doing much? There's, just resting, while the Houston Texans, their emotions are high, man. Their adrenaline's up. They want to win. They're red hot. Coming off of a shellacking that they gave to the Cleveland Browns. CJ Stroud been looking good, man. He's been looking really good, and I'm really happy with the Texans, man. It's awesome to see. They may have the offensive rookie of the year, the coach of the year, and the defensive rookie of the year. Has that ever happened before? I don't know, but that is wild. It probably has not happened because, offensive rookie of the year, or rookie of the year in general, you have CJ Stroud. Then you have the coach of the year and DeMeco Ryans, and the possible defensive rookie of the year and Will Anderson Jr. It's insane. They have so many playmakers, so many young pieces that they're going to have for years and years to come. And CJ Stroud is the leader of that. He's amazing. He's great. He's been nothing short of spectacular, of great, of what a top 5 quarterback in the NFL looks like. And unfortunately, I think that's going to come to an end this weekend. Now, CJ Stroud, he's looked awesome. He's done a very good job. But we've seen the Ravens. They smoked the Niners. They've been smoking really good football teams. They beat up on good football teams. This is a juggernaut. Now, a scenario I could see are, the Houston Texans jumping out early because of, the Ravens are sluggish because of the couple weeks off. A lot of starters did play Week 18, but obviously none of them played last week. They're on a bye. But I just think that the Baltimore Ravens, I think this game is going to be close throughout, and I think the Texans are going to be very competitive. But I think the Ravens are going to pull away right at the end. I think they're just going to get a couple extra touchdowns, and I said the Texans will get a touchdown, right at the end there when the game's ending. And I just think that the Ravens have a little more to them, and I think everyone's going to agree with me that the Ravens are just a juggernaut of a football team. Now, I can see the Texans doing it. I could. Just when you have a quarterback like CJ Stroud, anything is possible. Anything can happen. And especially the way he's been playing, it wouldn't shock me one bit if they do go into Baltimore and upset them. On the other side of things, Baltimore, they've struggled in the playoffs. They're kind of like they've kind of been like the Cowboys and the Bills. They're awesome in the regular season. They get into the playoffs and they're not as good as a football team. They just choke it out. They choke every time. So could the Ravens get past that? They have a new offensive coordinator. Their defense is pretty good. I do think the Texans can exploit that defense. So if the Texans defense, their Texans defense is a very opportunistic defense. They're going to allow yards. They're probably going to struggle against Lamar in the run a little bit. Dalvin Cook was a great signing for the Ravens. I would be worried about that if I were the Texans. He's an incredible runner. I can't believe the NFL let the Ravens get Dalvin Cook and Lamar Jackson in the same backfield now. But, that Texans defense can make a couple plays. They're very opportunistic. They take advantage of opportunities. If a guy has an interception in his hand, he's not going to drop it. Most of the time, that Texans defense is going to pick it up. Will Anderson coming off the edge. He could have a nice day. Texans have a nice defensive line that can maybe force Lamar Jackson, maybe force a couple sacks, get a couple of fumbles. This Texans defense, Derek Stingley Jr., a young cornerback, he's been balling out this year. The Texans have a lot of really good young pieces, and they could get some turnovers. But I think the Ravens are going to do enough. And like I said, I think this game is going to be pretty competitive throughout. I just think that the Ravens towards the end are going to pull away and they're going to put the game away. And that's going to be the difference between these two teams. You have a team in the Ravens. They're pretty experienced, and Lamar finally has some help. And Mark Andrews is coming back as well. Isaiah Likely, OBJ. Offensive line is pretty good. The Cook, I just think it's going to be a little too much for that Texans defense. Now, the Texans defense, like I said, they do allow some yards, but they are opportunistic. I just don't think it's going to be enough versus the Ravens. And on top of that, the Texans defense, they're good. They're going to allow yards, but yeah, I just have the Ravens pulling away towards the end, and Ravens taking it 38-28 over the Houston Texans.